Okay, so our next topic is calendars. So a couple of ways that you can make calendars. You can make them right from the Forever website, either on your computer, your tablet, or your phone. You would do that through the Create and Print interface, and you can go down on the right-hand side, Calendars. And then there's going to be different themes that are pre-made. It has a large area at the top, perforation, and a small calendar at the bottom. And there's just the one size when you're ordering through Forever Create and Print. So the big picture, this would be great. Like if you had a completed page you made in Artisan and you want to pull it in and just put it on the top and have your calendar on the bottom. And then this is the one that I use. So if you have lots of photos and you want to be able to create a gift using lots of photos, this would be a great option. You can kind of click here and see the different layouts that they have. All right, and down here you can see choose your start month. So you can start from any month that you want. It doesn't have to be January of the year. So before you get started on doing anything in Create and Print, I'm going to recommend you create an album and then pull into that album your favorite photos that you want to play with when you're creating photo gifts. So to go to Forever and then go to Albums. To create an album, you would do New Album, and up here you would name it 2023 Photo Gifts, Pics for Photo Gifts, or however you want to name it. I would recommend putting some zeros in front of it. It helps put it at the front of your list of albums because it's alphanumeric. So I have created one. And in mine, I just listing out here some of the tips. So one, create an album that you want to put your photos in, gather your photos. So you can gather photos from your computer, tablet, phone. You can also scan photos in. You can also Facebook nab. So let me show you how to do that. Let me pull Facebook over and let me go hit somebody. Took me a while to find a picture that I might want to steal and put in a gift, but I found one. Alrighty. So this friend is traveling, and let's say I wanted to make her a gift, and I was trying to get some ideas, and I see this awesome picture she uploaded of her having tea on her trip. And I think, that's awesome. I think I can make a cool mug for her. So to get this photo easily into Forever, I would do it like this, where you have the two screens open, hit upload. So you can drag and drop anything here. So I just left click on the photo and drag it over. And now it is in, so I can make a gift from that photo easily. So that's one idea. Ways to use this would be if you had, let's say somebody's pet had passed and they're posting their favorite pictures of their pet or other loved one, or they're celebrating an anniversary or a new home and you want to send them a gift. Then you can grab them from Facebook and surprise them with a nice gift. Okay, so let's go back to creating the calendar. So Create and Print, Calendar. We'll do the one that I chose. All right, we'll try November, start. Up here at the top, you can see all months by clicking on the eyeball on all months. You can change the starting month here, then it has tips. So any gift that you make in Create and Print, they're gonna look like this, where you can left click where it has like an icon for a photo, go out to your photo library. You wanna go to that album where you organized everything. And then you can, pick a picture. And then let's say you pick a picture and you don't like how it looks in that opening, you maybe need to change what box it's in. You can click Move, and then you can pick a different, let's see, the square, and then you can put it in there. You can also zoom in and out so that it fits better in the box. So here's your zoom. So basically what you would do is you would proceed to fill all your spots until you're happy with how they look on the layout and you've finished all of your pages of your calendar. When you're done, you would want to add to cart. and then check out. So that's super simple. Pick your template, add your photos, check out. A lot of the feedback that I get from people that look at this is really for forever. This is for showing off your photos. It's not about this being a calendar, but it has a calendar at the bottom for reference. A lot of people want it to have a purposeful calendar that's big, that gives them more space to write at the top, and maybe some photos to decorate the bottom. So we're going to talk about that in Artisan. When you're creating calendars in Artisan, you have four size options. Let's go create. And then we're going to go over to calendars, and we have wall calendars. There's 3. So this is the 12 by 18. So this top part is a 12 by 12, and the bottom part is like a 6 by 12, and it tears off. So if somebody had wanted to slide it into like a slide-in photo book, they could do that at the end of the year and then gradually build scrapbooks out of these album pages. This is where it's basically halfway down is the photo at the top, and then the other half is the calendar. So this is going to give you kind of a half and half photos and calendar, whereas this really, it's one's really big and the other one's small. Your 8 by 12 is going to be an 8 by 8 on the top, and then a 4 by 8 on the bottom for the calendar. And we have the ability to flip things up in Artisan, so that gives us the freedom to do that. Another option is this desk calendar, which one side is a 4 by 6, and then the other side over here, I'm trying to think how wide that is. It's probably 4 by 4 over here. So 4 by 4 calendar, really super tiny. It's really just a reference and a place to sit, put photos on a desk. All right, so I've already created some calendars to demonstrate off, but let's go through the next steps. Once you pick let's say we'll pick this template. Next, you would pick your layout. So if you have a pre-design kit that you like, you can pick one of those. And then, so we'll go ahead and do this one here. And next, you can add photos. You can either upload them from your computer, browse forever, copy and paste them from somewhere, our historian, or browse Facebook. And then next, you would name it. I would recommend putting both the size of the calendar and the year and maybe who it's for, to kind of, if you make multiples, it would help you separate them. I'm going to hit cancel because I already have one started. So this is a template that has a big calendar on top and then photos at the bottom. So this one, it is by Lucky Girl Creative, and it has 1, 2, and 3 openings on the bottom. So I'll kind of have different options for you to see there. And then the other kit, the layouts were collages at the bottom. So if you have lots of photos, you could have options to have lots of photos on the bottom. Another option is, so let's say you create pages, like many of the Pixels to Pages members might make pages to complete bright ideas, and maybe it doesn't fit in a book you're doing, but maybe it'd be a fun page to throw on your wall to enjoy the work that you did with photos. So just a way to have it on your wall for 1 month of the year. So this would be an option. The top of it is just a photo opening, and then the bottom is the calendar. So that's one idea too, is to be able to do that. And then another option is there are templates out there that have layouts for the top, as well as it's already pre-decorated for the bottom. And then you just need to add in your information. So you can kind of see it has a layout. I threw in the photos, and then it has the calendar template at the bottom. Just a couple of things about calendars. So let's go to this next page. So this, and this actual, probably not the best. She made these templates, and she also added an actual title up here instead of it being part of the calendar grid. Let's flip over to this one here so you can kind of see the difference. Let's see. changes. It's thinking about it. There we go. So in the calendar grid, the calendar, the month and year are at the top, and that's part of this whole calendar. Whereas in her this other layout, it's an extra text box, or actually it's not even a text box. You can't edit it. I had to add one on top to put that date in there. So if you want it to be the way her layout is, she has a sticker up there that says the month and year. So you will have to play with that if you are changing your months around. But let's go back here so I can just teach you a little bit about how calendars work in Artisan. So you can see over here in your elements panel, it's considered, it's still switching over. There we go. We'll unlock it. Cannot be unlocked. Okay, well, we're going to right click on it to edit it. So right click. There we go. You can see calendar is an option. So we can format it. On the right, there's all these different sections. So calendar, that's the whole thing as a whole. Title is going to be this top area. So if you want to change your font up here, you can do that. And then weekdays are the top up here. Days are the numbers for the days, like what corner is it in, what's the font, what's the size, color, all of that is set in days. And then notes is what goes in the center. So you can, we'll go ahead and do the calendar. So as a whole, right now it's set up, this template was from January 2022. That doesn't mean we can't use it, we just have to change it. So let's say I want to start this in let's say December of 23. So it changed to December, and then we just changed the year to 23. So it quickly changes that. And then down here, title, show month and year, you can change that. So you kind of just play around with this and see all the different options that there are out there. You could do not show a title, so it makes the space bigger. Maybe you put the title on where the photo is. You can show just the month and year. So the font that you use, you can, adjust that. So all of these settings are for each component. So you kind of want to play around with the first one, and then once you like how you have it set up, so let's go ahead and make a few more changes. Let's see. So fill color, let's change that just so you can see how that looks different. It's too dark. There we go. And it has rectangular border. Let's try rounded. So you can kind of see the difference. You just play around with all these drop downs to get a sense of it. We'll go down to weekdays. So weekdays, the weekdays are going to be this across here. So right now it shows a fill color of white. We're not really seeing it because my background's white. So let's click OK for a minute. I'm going to fill the background with the color so you can see it. Maybe we'll do. Okay, so the whole calendar has a fill. So calendar format right here. So let's remove fill. So now you can kind of see where it's white behind the days, but outside of here, it's not white. Title, that's this one up here. We filled it with the kind of brown. Weekdays, it's filled with white. Maybe you want to mimic that look and have it rounded as well. So you kind of want to play with it, kind of get a feel for what you like, the fonts that you like. You want it to be readable. Maybe you need the weekday numbers to be bigger, or that's the weekdays. Again, I have to play with it to figure out which one I'm working on. That's too big. There, bigger, but it fits in there. So now we want to go to days to change the numbers. This box at the top, show days from the next and previous months. If I uncheck that, it's going to make that be blank. It's really a choice. It gives you an extra box to put in there, or you could put pictures in here. So that is just a style choice. And let's see, so let's change that font for the days. We'll just do that, and maybe we make it bold and we make it bigger. So you can kind of really play around with this as much as you want to get it to where it makes you happy and you think it's going to work for you. That is really too big, so we're going to make this. Make it unbold. Okay. And then lastly, your notes. That's going to be what shows in the filled spots. And so let's maybe make that match the one that we did before. Maybe make it a little larger so it's readable. Okay, so right now there's nothing in those day spots. How would we add something in there? You can, I double clicked on the calendar, this little pop-up menu comes, and let's say the 5th is somebody's birthday or it's a special event, that's coming up in December. We'll say ladies tea, and we'll say okay. And so let's say I don't like that down there in the left, I want it centered. That's going to be a formatting thing. That's going to be notes. And then you would get center it and center it. Let's say you have a list of dates you want to be available for all calendars that you create. So we can do that. I believe we have to do it through, here we go, add events. So this is if you already have a list created, but if you haven't created a list, I'm going to go ahead and save my changes so far. The first part of it, you're going to play and figure out what you like. Once you know what you like, then we can set it as the default, and we can also sample and apply. Okay, my settings went on the other screen. Let's pop this over here. So calendar, so you can create a new one, sample 2, add, and then you can add in all the dates. So let's do that December 5th one. Oh no, let's just do December 7th. Annual reviews. This would be, whatever you want to do. You might have a business list or a church function list or side of the family A, side of the family B, and you want to put all of the, maybe you don't want everybody's birthday on the same calendar. So we'll go okay and okay. So on here, if I want to add all those dates, again, I would right click, calendar, add events. It gives you all of these pop-ups. This feature will add only to the selected calendar. So you have 12 months, it's only going to affect this one. Okay, and then it's going to say, note, if you select an event list that has already been added to the calendar, the events will be duplicated on your calendar. Okay. Right now, nothing is on there except for that one I wrote in. So you can do Christian holidays, US holidays. You can also do family. So I'm going to go ahead and select my family so you can see what it looks like when it adds a bunch of things in there at once. We'll say okay. And so it pre-fills it. So once you've done the work, the next year it's easier. Let's say there's something on those lists that you're like, I don't want that on there. Then you can always just double click, go to that day, and then select and delete. So even though it pre-fills it for you, you can edit it. All right, so we talked about events, we've talked about formatting. What about pictures? This is a photo product. You can add photos into the top of the calendar. So over here in the right side, you see an empty, so you can drag a whole photo in, or you can kind of develop your own page. The bottom part, which you see now, is actually the calendar. We can add photos to it as well. So we would go to photo. Let me get some photos. Browse forever. And I go to that album, photos for gifts. And we will, I have it in a custom order. There we go. Grab some to play with. So you can put, besides text in a spot, you can add a photo. You can also add a photo on top of a spot. So you're going to try get a feel for what you like. So I can add, as I move over, you can see it turns yellow, and then it just centers it in there, which is fine. But if you already had like Scott and Robyn's anniversary on here or whatever, then the text would go right over it. So if I double click this segment, I can remove image from cell. Let's say I put it on one that already has text. You can see, let me zoom way in. That's not really attractive to me. So sometimes you might want to maybe put your text on the bottom left. That would give us some room to add. So let's go ahead and format. We're going to go notes, bottom left, and maybe let's make it smaller. Okay. And then we're going to remove this image from it, and I'll show you a second way to add a photo to a spot. So right click, let's see if there we go. Add photo to a new frame. It's going to be super big, but we can. And now we have the freedom to place it where we want to in the box. And then you can add shadows. You can add a mat to it. You can tilt it. So you can make it square. So you zoom in more on the people in the photo. And maybe you can add a couple photos in the spot. So that gives you some more freedom and flexibility in how it looks on a spot. We'll zoom back out. So that's where you can go to the next level with these calendars. Let's say we like this calendar and we want to go on to the next page. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And we want to apply all of this work that we did. We figured out all the settings that we like. So right click on the calendar, and we are going to sample calendar style. And then we're going to go pages, go to this next one. So we started December 2023. So now this should be January. So we are going to go to calendar format. We're going to change it to January 24. Instead of having to go through all of those steps we did before, we're going to right click, apply calendar style, and it does all that work. Then you would go and you would fill again, you can fill the calendar background with whatever color works with that particular page, whatever matches with the top of it. And then from there, let's say you want to add those events. You would pick the ones that you want from the list. So that's kind of some of the functionality of it. So again, if you wanted to have the calendar on top like this, then a couple of ways you could do it. You could choose a template like this one, and I'll show you out in the store what that's called. That has it already done for you. Or if we were to, let's go down here. We're going to make that a blank page. Template, art kit. We're going to make blank. There we go. I don't know why I put it right under there. So let's say we do blank and you want to add a calendar on top. I'm going to show you how to add a calendar. And you can do this on any of your pages in your projects too. Insert, calendar. And then I can resize and put it in there. And then we can pick the month that we want. And then we hit create. And then if you're like, oh yeah, this is my default calendar that I like, but not for this project, maybe I want to use what I did on that other one. So I can apply calendar style, and it did not, I don't know why hers. Let's go up here. Doesn't look like it's taking that from one to the other. So title, but you would insert your calendar on top, and then you can put your photos on the bottom, and you can, come on, there we go. Build a page however you like. So you could, there are templates, or you can do it from scratch. There we go. So you would just, just like you would do each page with the template, you would do it each page from scratch. You would add that calendar on top. And you can make it as big, as you want to fit within that spot. And maybe you wanted to go up. Just remember that it's going to be perforated where this line is. That's why that line is there. But you can decide how far you want it to fill out. So those are some of the basics of calendars. You can do, there's like 4 sizes. There's pre-designed ones that are free and ones that you can buy. Some templates have the calendar on the bottom, some have it on the top, or you can do a blank one and design it using that insert calendar. In the store, so a couple of tips. If you're interested in making a calendar, go out there and look for what you like. So you can see there's lots of different themes out there. This has a collage on top, small on the bottom. This is the one that I was talking about that had a large grid already for you on the top, and then the option of 1, 2, or 3 photos on the bottom. So let's say you wanted each page to have 1 photo. You can definitely do that. Now I'll pause and go out there and show you what I mean by that. I'll say no to saving. So let's say this layout has 1 photo, but we want to use a different layout from that different kit. How you would change a template, you would go up to Home, the Page section, Template from an art kit. It says it can't be undone, and that's okay. One tip, when you change a template, you're going to lose all of these birthdays and holidays and everything. So you just have to reapply those. Your software's smart enough, it knows what kits have calendars in them. So it's only going to show you your calendar kits. And then, let's see, this is the big grid, and we have 1, 2, 3, or big grid collage. Let's try the collage. And it doesn't matter what the month is, because remember, we can change that. You're just looking down here, like what kind of photos you have. And if you like it, say change. And then let's say this was supposed to be January. Then you just right click. And you would do January. That's the thing though, in her template, she has this as a sticker. So you'd have to actually put the month up there.